We're now on page 92 going to start with melodic rhythm study number 1. Melodic rhythm study. Sounds like an oxymoron. Melodic rhythms. That's a melody that has rhythms of syncopation. That's how we'll define it right now. Bill writes here, be sure to count a rhythm until you can feel the phrase. Eventually you will be able to recognize and feel entire groups of syncopated notes. In the beginning, you should pick down for all notes falling on the beat and up for those counted on and. This is a definite aid in learning to read these offbeat rhythms. Later on, when syncopation is no longer a problem, you will vary your picking for the purpose of phrasing and accents. We learned this when playing eighth notes. Remember, we were going with the note G, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we have a rhythm that's 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, notice the pick goes up on the ands, 1 and 2 and 3. That's one thing. The other thing about rhythms is something that I've been mentioning a lot. If you have a problem with a measure of counting out the rhythms, split the measure in half, play the first half of the measure, figure that out, and play the second half. Let's look at the first measure in this melodic rhythm study. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Well, you might get overwhelmed by looking at the whole measure, but if we look at the first half of the measure, it's only 1, 2. And then the second half of the measure is 3 and 4 and. And notice that and goes right into 1 of the next beat. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. You will start to get used to seeing this rhythm of an eighth note, quarter note, eighth note. We've seen it a number of times in the duets. It's always 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. Or if it comes on 3, 3 and 4 and. In playing this melodic rhythm study 1, in playing the melody, I'm going to use straight eighth notes, not swing eighth notes. The straight eighth notes because for rhythm guitar, I'm going to use a Latin beat. Here is the melody to melodic rhythm study 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have that eighth note, quarter note, eighth note throughout this. First line, you have it twice. The third line, you have it twice. Here's the third line. Different notes, but same rhythm. And what do we have in this piece? We have 2 modulations. We're starting in the key of C, adding a sharp, and going to the key of G, adding another sharp, and going into the key of D that has F sharp and C sharp, and ending in that. So this tune has 2 modulations. We're in 3 keys. Here's the rhythm guitar part. As on the bottom of the page, we can play either this or this. I will go back and forth with playing either of those 2 rhythms, but the main thing is straight 8th notes and keeping the time very strong. Chords to melodic rhythm study. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could choose whatever forms you want to play for those chords. You can simplify them, or you can play for C major, you could play C6, or you could play C major 7. The main objective to this is to keep the time. If you're having problems playing the chords right now in that tempo, I really want you to work on the melody. That is the most important part, and you can come back to the chords.